If you want to multiply your income by 1000%, you have to stop living like someone who earns the same as last year. This is not just another talk about money. This is a full, clear, direct plan that shows you how to increase your income in a way that actually works in real life. No vague advice, no fluff. Just straight, powerful steps that help you take control of your time, skills, and mindset. Ask yourself right now, what if the way you're working is keeping your income stuck? What if small changes each day could turn your current effort into real results? This audiobook is built for people who are ready to make serious progress. It's designed with simplicity, strategy, and impact. If you're done with guessing and ready for something real, you're in the right place. This is Increasing Your Income 1000% Formula, the mindset, habits, and daily actions that take your earning power to a level most people never reach. Chapter 1. Decide to aim for much higher income. Most people never stop to ask themselves one of the most important questions in life: what do I actually want to earn? They take whatever comes, live month to month, and tell themselves, someday things will get better. But here's the truth: nothing changes until you decide it must. The first step to increasing your income by 1000% is not a strategy or a tactic, it's a decision. A real, firm, personal decision that says, I'm done settling, I'm done surviving, I'm ready to aim higher. It's not about greed, it's about potential. Because when you aim low, you think small, act small, and accept less. But the moment you decide to aim for more, everything shifts. Your energy changes. Your choices start to align. Your attention sharpens. You start paying attention to how you use your time. You begin to question the things you once accepted as normal. That's the beginning of transformation, not from outside pressure, but from internal clarity. Look at where your income is right now. That number didn't show up by accident. It's a reflection of the standards you've set, the habits you follow, the skills you use, and the decisions you've made up to this point. And if that number hasn't changed in months or years, it's because the level you're aiming for hasn't changed either. Income follows focus. If your focus has been on getting by, that's what life gives you. If your focus shifts to growing, building, creating, earning, your outcomes begin to reflect that. But here's what most people don't realize. Aiming higher doesn't begin with knowing how. It begins with knowing why. Why do you want more income? What will it change in your life? What will it allow you to do, fix, build, or give? That emotional reason becomes your fuel. Without it, discipline fades. But with it, you'll do what others won't, because you've already made peace with discomfort. You've already decided that the current version of life isn't enough, not because you're ungrateful, but because you're not finished. The decision to aim for much higher income is not a loud decision. It's a quiet, personal one. You don't need to announce it. You don't need approval. But you do need to believe in it enough to act on it daily. That's what separates the talkers from the builders. Real builders don't chase motivation, they create commitment. Think of someone you know who's earning at a higher level than you. It's not because they're better than you. It's because they've made different decisions, often uncomfortable ones. They chose to take responsibility when it was easier to blame. They chose to keep going when things slowed down. They chose to learn new things instead of staying the same. And they chose to aim higher long before they had any proof they could get there. Your current situation might feel hard. You might have bills piling up, people depending on you, or a schedule that feels completely full. But here's what aiming higher does. It forces you to stop wasting time. You stop saying yes to things that don't matter. You stop chasing distractions. You start asking better questions. What's the highest use of my time today? What task can bring me closer to earning more? Who can I learn from? Where am I holding myself back? Most people wait for the right time to aim higher. That time never comes. Conditions never get perfect. Life never slows down enough to give you space. You have to create space by making different choices. If you don't, you'll stay on the same level, hoping that one day your income will rise on its own. It won't. No one is coming to rescue your finances. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life. It has to be earned, and it starts with a decision that you make on your own. When you aim higher, you start expecting more from yourself. That doesn't mean you become harsh. It means you become intentional. You start thinking in terms of results. You track your progress. You take feedback seriously. You stop wasting hours on things that don't help you grow. You treat your future with respect. That's the mindset that builds income. That's the mindset that creates change. People around you may not understand at first. They may think you're trying too hard. That's fine. They don't have to understand your vision. But you owe it to yourself not to shrink your goals just to stay comfortable with others. The people who grow the most are usually the ones who are willing to aim for more, even when no one else believed it was possible. Aiming for a much higher income is not just about getting paid more, it's about becoming more valuable. And that starts by valuing your time, your energy, and your potential. You stop treating your work as just a task and start treating it as your craft. You upgrade your skills. You speak with more confidence. You raise your standards. You operate like someone who's already earning more, not with arrogance, but with clarity. And clarity turns into action. You start doing the things you used to delay. You stop overthinking. You launch the idea. You follow up on the opportunity. You ask for what you're worth. You stop waiting to be picked and start creating your own path. This is how people increase their income, not through luck, but through focus. None of this happens overnight. But it does happen the moment you make the decision, the moment you say, I'm not going to keep living at this same level. That's the switch. Once that decision is made, your brain starts looking for ways to support it. You'll start seeing chances you used to ignore. You'll act faster. You'll keep promises to yourself. You'll fail and keep moving, because now you've got a direction that actually matters. So ask yourself right now, what have you been accepting as good enough when you know you want more? What limits have you placed on your income because of fear, doubt, or habit? And more importantly, are you ready to outgrow them? You don't need to know every step ahead. You just need to decide that your current level is not your final level. That decision will change how you show up. It will change what you tolerate. It will change how seriously you take your growth. And it will absolutely change your income, because income follows mindset, and mindset follows decision. You have everything you need to begin. You don't need to wait another year, another paycheck, or another excuse. You need one clear moment of decision, one moment of truth that says, I will no longer aim low and live small. From that moment forward, your life begins to shift. And as you make that choice today, everything else in this journey will make sense. Because once you've aimed higher, you've already separated yourself from the crowd. The rest is about taking the steps one by one to become the person who earns what they've decided they deserve. That's the power of a clear decision. That's where the 1000% formula begins. Chapter 2. Drop habits that quietly shrink earnings. Most people think that earning more money starts with learning something new or finding a better job. But the truth is, before you focus on doing more, you need to stop doing what's holding you back. There are quiet habits, unnoticed patterns in your day that are silently shrinking your income. They don't make noise. They don't wave flags. They hide in your routines. And until you drop them, no amount of new strategy will truly work. You'll always be working harder just to stay in the same place. These habits are easy to ignore because they feel normal, they feel harmless, but they build up, and over time they start affecting how you think, how you act, and how others see your value. Income is not just about how skilled you are, it's about how consistently you protect your energy, your focus, and your drive. So, to grow your income by 1000%, the first real move is to remove what quietly steals it. The first habit that shrinks income is delay. Not the delay that comes from strategy, but the kind that hides behind excuses like, "I'll start next week," or "I'm still planning." Every time you delay action that could move you forward, you train yourself to hesitate. And hesitation is expensive. It kills momentum. It turns simple steps into hard ones. When you delay improving a skill, asking for the opportunity, creating the thing you've been thinking about, you're letting income pass by, and it rarely circles back. Another quiet habit is distraction. Scrolling, switching between things constantly, checking every notification. These all seem small, but they break your ability to focus deeply. And deep focus is where value is created. If you can't stay with a task long enough to do it better than most, you'll always be replaceable. And being replaceable means being underpaid. So, you must protect your attention like it's your paycheck, because it is. Then there's the habit of seeking comfort. It's human to want ease. But when comfort becomes a pattern, growth stops. Choosing what's easy today often means choosing what's expensive tomorrow. Staying in the same job because it's not that bad. Keeping a routine that doesn't challenge you. Avoiding difficult conversations. All of these feel comfortable in the short term, but they limit your capacity to grow, to solve more valuable problems, and to earn more. Comfort is not the enemy, but when it becomes the goal, income suffers. One of the most damaging habits is low standards, accepting just okay work from yourself, saying this is good enough when you know it's not your best. When you allow average to become your normal, you attract average results. High income follows high standards, not perfection, just a consistent choice to hold yourself to more than what's easy. A world pays for value, not effort alone, and value rises when your standards rise. Another habit to drop is blaming. Blaming the economy, blaming your boss, blaming your background, blaming timing. Blame might feel comforting in the moment, but it takes your power away. It tells your brain that you don't have control, and when you believe that, you stop trying. Income grows when you take responsibility for what happens next, even if what happened before wasn't your fault. Ownership is the start of change. Comparison is another trap. Spending time looking at what others are doing, what others have, what others are earning. This habit wastes energy. Every second spent comparing is a second, not spent improving. You don't get paid for what others do. You get paid for what you produce, what you build, what you become. Focus on your lane. You will grow faster when you stop looking sideways. Some habits are emotional, like overthinking. Overthinking every decision, every risk, every post, every new idea. It feels responsible, but it often leads to inaction, and inaction creates distance between you and the income you want. Action, even small imperfect action, is always more powerful than sitting still. You can learn from mistakes, but you can't learn from waiting. A major income-killing habit is saying yes too often. Saying yes to things that drain you. Saying yes to people who don't respect your time. Saying yes out of guilt. Every yes takes time away from something else. If you want to increase income, you need to become ruthless with your time. Say no to what doesn't align with your goals, even if it's uncomfortable. Boundaries build space for real progress. Then there's the habit of speaking poorly about money. Saying things like, "I can't afford that," "money doesn't grow on trees," or "I'll never be rich." These might seem like throwaway comments, but they shape your identity. They teach your mind to believe that income is something that happens to you, not something you can grow. Your words build your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your results. Sek is someone who is building wealth, not struggling with it. One more habit that hurts income is hiding. Hiding your work, hiding your thoughts, hiding your skills. Thinking that being quiet or humble will somehow get you noticed. It won't. The world does not reward what it doesn't see. You need to share your ideas. You need to speak up. You need to show what you've built, not with arrogance, but with honesty. Visibility is a tool. Use it. The goal here is not to become perfect. The goal is to become aware, because awareness gives you power. You can't fix what you don't notice. But once you see it, you can choose differently. You can look at your daily routine and ask, is this helping me grow or keeping me stuck? And that one question, asked consistently, can change your life. Start by auditing one full day. Write down how you spend your time. Write down your habits. How much time did you spend learning? How much time did you spend producing? How much time did you spend distracted? What decisions did you avoid? What energy did you give to low-return tasks? That clarity will tell you what's shrinking your income right now. After that, pick one habit, just one, and commit to dropping it. Replace it with a better one. If you usually scroll in the morning, replace it with 15 minutes of skill building. If you delay decisions, create a rule to decide within 10 minutes. If you always say yes to low-priority work, prepare one sentence to politely decline. Small upgrades compound, and those upgrades create space for more value, more productivity, and more income. Remember, income doesn't just rise because of big moves. It rises when you remove what's quietly dragging it down. It's like a boat. Sometimes you don't need a bigger engine. You just need to pull up the anchor. If you want to increase your income by 1000%, don't start by looking outside. Start by looking inside. Look at your habits. Look at how you treat your time, your focus, and your decisions. Drop the habits that shrink your income, even if they feel small. Especially if they feel small. Because the small things done every day shape your future more than any big idea you might have once a year. Discipline starts with awareness, and growth starts when you stop doing what no longer matches who you want to become. Your next level is waiting, but you have to clear the path, and that means saying goodbye to the quiet habits that keep your income from rising. You know what they are. Now it's your move. Chapter 3. Chase skills that raise income fast. Income grows fastest when personal value grows faster than expenses, and value comes from skills that solve problems people are already willing to pay for. Many people spend years working hard but earning little because they keep improving in areas that feel interesting instead of areas that create income. Effort without direction feels tiring and unrewarding. Progress with direction feels powerful. The shift happens when you decide to chase skills that pay instead of skills that only impress. Skills are not equal. Some skills are admired, some skills are useful, some skills are enjoyable, but only certain skills directly raise income quickly. The marketplace does not reward time spent, it rewards results delivered. When you understand this clearly, you stop asking how hard am I working and start asking how useful am I becoming. That question changes everything. Many people confuse education with income growth. Education has value but only when it turns into ability. Ability turns into results. Results turn into income. A shelf full of books or certificates means nothing if the skill is not practiced, applied, and delivered under real conditions. Income follows usefulness, not intention. The fastest way to raise income is to become good at something that saves time, increases revenue, or reduces problems for others. Businesses pay well for relief. People pay for clarity. Organizations pay for solutions that work without supervision. When you chase skills that do these things, your income ceiling rises naturally because demand rises with it. This requires honesty. You must look at what you are currently good at and ask a difficult question. If this skill disappeared tomorrow, would someone urgently replace it? If the answer is no, then it is time to build something stronger. This is not criticism. This is strategy. Strong income comes from strong demand. Chasing high-value skills also means choosing focus over comfort. Comfort skills feel safe because you already know them. Income skills feel uncomfortable because they stretch you. Growth always asks for temporary discomfort. Learning to sell, communicate, negotiate, analyze, build, lead, or solve specific problems forces you to face uncertainty. But uncertainty is where growth lives. Many people wait to feel ready before learning income-raising skills. Readiness is not required. Commitment is. Skill grows through repetition and correction, not confidence. The early stage feels awkward. Mistakes happen. Progress feels slow, but those who stay long enough gain leverage that lasts for years. Speed matters. Some skills take decades to mature. Others raise income within months when practiced consistently. Skills tied to demand move faster. Communication skills raise income because they help you explain value. Sales skills raise income because they connect value to payment. Technical skills tied to current needs raise income because they solve urgent problems. Management skills raise income because they multiply effort. Choosing what to learn is more important than how long you learn. Random learning creates random results. Intentional learning creates momentum. Choose one skill with clear market demand and commit to daily improvement. Short, focused practice beats long, scattered effort. Consistency turns ordinary learning into uncommon ability. When you chase income-raising skills, your daily behavior changes. You read differently. You listen differently. You ask better questions. You seek feedback instead of praise. Feedback feels uncomfortable, but it sharpens skill. Praise feels good, but teaches nothing. Income respects those who choose growth over approval. The marketplace rewards those who can do what others avoid. Many avoid learning skills that involve rejection, responsibility, or accountability. They prefer tasks with clear rules and low risk. But low risk often means low reward. Skills that involve influence, decision-making, or problem ownership carry higher responsibility and higher income potential. Another important truth is that skill without application stays invisible. You must use what you learn in real situations, practice in public, solve real problems, offer value before demanding reward. Skill grows fastest under pressure. Pressure reveals gaps, gaps guide improvement. This cycle builds competence quickly. Chasing skills also means letting go of the idea that talent alone matters. Talent may start the race, but discipline finishes it. Skill grows when practiced, even on days when motivation is low. Income does not care how inspired you feel. It responds to how reliable you are. Learning fast income skills does not mean cutting corners. It means choosing relevance. Learn what people need now, not what sounds impressive. Trends change, but human needs stay consistent. People want better results. Less stress, more clarity, more efficiency. Skills that deliver these outcomes remain valuable across industries. Another mistake people make is learning too many skills at once.
Scattered learning leads to shallow ability. Shallow ability leads to low pay. Depth creates distinction. Distinction creates demand. Demand raises income. One strong skill applied well beats 5 weak skills applied occasionally. You must also accept that skill growth requires humility. Beginners often want to look capable instead of becoming capable. Drop the need to appear advanced. Embrace the learning stage. Ask questions. Accept correction. Progress accelerates when ego steps aside. As skill improves, confidence grows naturally. Not loud confidence, but quiet certainty. This certainty changes how you speak, how you negotiate, how you present yourself. Others feel it. Trust increases. Opportunities follow. Income responds to trust faster than persuasion. Chasing skills that raise income fast also builds resilience. Skills travel with you. Jobs can disappear. Markets shift. Skills remain. A person with strong skills is never trapped. Freedom grows with ability. That freedom reduces fear. Reduced fear improves decision-making. Better decisions create better income outcomes. Daily action matters more than long plans. Decide what skill you are building. Schedule time to practice it daily, even when life feels busy. Busy does not mean productive. Skill development is productive. Income follows productivity, not activity. Measure progress through output, not time. What did you create today? What problem did you solve? What did you improve? Small visible improvements compound. Skill compounds quietly until one day it looks like a breakthrough to others. Chasing skills also requires patience with results, but urgency with effort. Results take time. Effort must be daily. This balance keeps frustration low and momentum high. Many quit too early because they expect fast results without sustained effort. Remember this simple truth. The person who earns more is not always smarter or luckier. They are usually more useful. Usefulness grows with skill. Skill grows with practice. Practice grows with commitment. If income growth is your goal, then skill growth must be your priority. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin where you are with what you have. Choose a skill that the market values and commit to becoming better than average. Average effort produces average income. Focused skill produces leverage. You are paid in proportion to the problems you can handle and the results you can produce. Increase the size of problems you can solve and income rises naturally. This is not theory. This is how progress works. Decide today to chase skills that raise income fast, not someday, not later, today. Every skill you build is a step away from dependence and a step toward control. Control over time, choices, and future direction. That control is worth the effort. Skills turn effort into results. Results turn value into income, and income grows best when built on ability, not hope.
Chapter 4. Price your work for real results. Most people do not undercharge because they lack skill. They undercharge because they lack belief in the value they create. Pricing your work for real results is not a math problem first. It is a mindset problem. It begins with how you see your contribution and how seriously you take the outcomes you deliver. If you see your work as time spent, you will price it cheaply. If you see your work as results created, you will price it with confidence. The world does not pay fairly to effort. It pays to outcomes. Two people can work the same number of hours and earn very different incomes because one produces change while the other only completes tasks. When you understand this clearly, you stop counting hours and start measuring impact. Impact changes lives, saves time, reduces stress, increases growth, or solves pain. Pain solved is value delivered. Value delivered deserves proper pricing. Many people feel uncomfortable charging more because they worry about rejection.
They worry someone might say no, but a no is not a judgment of your worth. It is simply information. It tells you whether the value is clear and whether the audience understands the result. Pricing your work for real results forces clarity. You must clearly know what problem you solve and what outcome you provide. Vague work creates vague pricing. Clear work creates strong pricing. If you cannot explain the result you create, you will always struggle to price your work well. Results are not features. Results are changes. Before your work, the client had a problem. After your work, the problem is smaller or gone. That difference has value. When you speak from that difference, confidence replaces fear. Low pricing often attracts the wrong expectations. People who pay very little often demand the most and respect the least. When you price based on results, you attract people who value outcomes, not discounts. This changes the working relationship. Respect increases. Communication improves. Stress decreases. Income stabilizes. You must stop apologizing for charging what your work is worth. Apologies weaken your position. Calm certainty strengthens it. You are not forcing anyone to buy. You are offering a solution. Those who need it will see the value. Those who do not are not your audience. Pricing also reflects self-respect. If you consistently price below your value, you send a message to yourself that your work is not important. Over time, this damages motivation. Motivation drops. Quality slips. Resentment builds. Proper pricing protects energy and pride. Pride fuels excellence. Many people tie pricing to fear of competition. They think if they charge more, someone else will undercut them. Someone always will. Competing on price is a race downward. Competing on results is a climb upward. Results are harder to copy than prices. Focus on what makes your outcome better, not cheaper. Another mistake is pricing based on personal need. Need-based pricing leads to poor decisions. The market does not care what you need. It cares what problem you solve. Price for the problem solved, not the bill you are trying to pay. When you price from need, you negotiate against yourself before the conversation even begins. Real confidence in pricing comes from preparation. Know your results. Know your track record. Know your process. When you know these things, you speak calmly and clearly. Calm clarity builds trust. Trust supports higher pricing. If you are early in your journey, you may not have a long history of results yet. That is fine. Start by being honest and focused. Choose projects where you can clearly deliver improvement. Document progress. Learn from feedback. As results accumulate, pricing naturally rises. Growth is step by step, not instant. Never assume people know the value of your work. Value must be communicated. Explain the cost of not solving the problem. Time lost, stress increased, missed opportunities. When people understand the cost of inaction, your price feels reasonable. Silence creates doubt. Explanation builds understanding. Pricing for results also requires boundaries. Do not add endless extras without adjusting price. Scope creep quietly destroys income. Be clear about what is included and what is not. Clarity prevents conflict. Conflict drains energy. Energy is needed to deliver results. Some fear that charging more creates pressure. Pressure already exists when you promise results. Proper pricing allows you to meet that pressure with resources, time and focus. Underpricing increases pressure because you work harder to compensate. Proper pricing gives room to deliver quality. Confidence in pricing grows with repetition. The first few conversations feel uncomfortable. That discomfort fades as you see positive responses. Experience replaces fear. Fear fades with action. You must also separate self-worth from pricing outcomes. If someone declines your price, it does not mean you failed. It means alignment was not there. Learn, adjust, refine, and continue. Detachment keeps emotions steady. Steady emotions support clear decisions. Pricing your work for real results also changes how you work. When you charge for outcomes, you become more intentional. You plan better. You communicate better. You follow through stronger. Higher standards emerge naturally because you are now responsible for meaningful change. Remember this important truth. Cheap work demands volume. Valuable work demands precision. Volume exhausts. Precision builds mastery. Mastery increases income. The market respects those who respect their own work. That respect is shown through preparation, communication, delivery, and pricing. Price too low and you signal doubt. Price with clarity and you signal confidence. Income growth requires courage. Courage to ask. Courage to explain. Courage to stand by your value without aggression or apology. Calm firmness changes conversations. If you want to increase your income significantly, you must stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a problem solver. Problem solvers are paid for results. Workers are paid for time. Time has limits. Results scale. Practice stating your price clearly without justification overload. Speak once, then listen. Silence is not weakness. Silence shows confidence. Let the value speak. Over time, pricing becomes easier because you grow into the value you claim. Skills improve, results deepen. Reputation builds, income follows naturally. Price your work for real results because results matter. They matter to clients. They matter to your growth. They matter to your future. When you honor the value you create, the world responds accordingly.
Chapter 5. Spend time only on money growth. If your goal is to grow your income fast and for the long run, the one thing you can't afford to waste is time. Time is your most valuable currency, and how you spend it is directly tied to how much you earn. The truth is, most people aren't broke because they're lazy. They're broke because they spend too much time on things that don't grow their money. They stay busy, but not productive. They do 100 little things and call it hard work, but none of those things actually move them closer to the life they want. When you really take a look at how your time is used every single day, you start to notice patterns, and those patterns are often not built around growth. They're built around habits, distraction, comfort, or things that just feel good in the moment. But good feelings don't pay bills. Growth does. So the decision to spend time only on money growth starts by getting honest. Honest about what you're doing every day, where your energy is going, and whether those things are adding value or just passing time. One of the biggest traps is doing work that keeps you occupied but doesn't pay off. You might be organizing your workspace, replying to messages, updating your to-do list, or sitting through long calls where nothing changes. It might feel responsible, but it's not growing your income. Income only grows when your time creates value for someone else in a way they're willing to pay for. If that's not happening, you're working, but not growing. To shift this, the first move is to look at your daily routine through a financial lens. Ask one simple question about every task. Does this move money forward? If the answer is no, delegate it, drop it, or delay it. High income is built on high return actions. You don't need to be busy all day. You need to be doing the few things that actually lead to more results, more value, and more income. You'll find that most of your income comes from a small number of activities. This is not about working harder, it's about working sharper. If you make money through sales, then your time needs to go into connecting with leads, following up and closing deals. If you earn through content, then your time needs to go into creating, improving,
and publishing content that solves problems and attracts the right audience. If you work in a service business, then your time needs to go into delivering value that your client will happily pay more for. The goal is not to cut rest, but to cut juice. You don't need to sacrifice your peace, you need to remove weight. Time spent on scrolling, gossiping, debating things that don't affect your life, and chasing small distractions, those things take from your potential. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't grow your money is a minute stolen from your future, and most people don't even realize it until it's too late. Money doesn't just show up because you hope for it. It shows up when your time becomes a focused investment. Think about your day like a bank account. You're given 24 hours. How many of those hours are you spending in ways that will pay you back? How many of them are creating learning, earning, or building? How many of them are just disappearing into things that feel urgent but don't change your life? To start spending time only on money growth, you need to become clear about what grows your money in your situation. This depends on your stage of life, your skills and your goals, but some truths are universal. Learning skills that raise your value, offering those skills where they're needed, and doing the work that creates real results. These things always grow income. This requires discipline. It's easy to say yes to everything. It's harder to say no to what's not aligned with your goal. But if you want to grow, you have to protect your focus like it matters, because it does. You'll never multiply your income while letting anyone or anything steal your focus whenever they want. It also requires that you schedule money growth into your life. Don't leave it to chance. Block time daily or weekly to work on skills, review finances, build systems, or reach out to new opportunities. You don't need 10 hours a day. You need consistent blocks where your energy is directed into building, not reacting. And understand this, spending time on money growth doesn't always mean working for money directly. Sometimes it means preparing to earn more, studying, practicing, reaching out to mentors, fixing things that slow you down. These aren't instant payoff activities, but they are powerful. They increase your long-term ability to grow. Also, start tracking how your time turns into income. If you can't see the connection between what you do and what you earn, that's a problem. Keep it simple. Start with a piece of paper or an app. Write what you did today that made or moved money. Over time, patterns will appear. You'll start seeing what works, then double down on those things. Remove the rest. You can't expect a 1000% income increase from scattered effort. That level of growth demands intentional living. It demands that your hours serve a purpose, that your calendar reflects your ambition, that your days become a tool, not just something to survive through. It means treating your time like something valuable, because it is. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting your time. People who don't value growth won't understand. They might say you're working too much. They might say you've changed. But growth always looks strange to people who are standing still. You're not here to explain your focus. You're here to create a better life for yourself, for your family, and for the people who will be inspired by your discipline. It's also worth mentioning that spending time on money growth doesn't mean becoming obsessed with money itself. It means building a life where money is a tool, not a stressor. It means creating options, choices, stability, so you can give more, do more, and live better. You don't have to become a machine, you have to become intentional. You might think, but what if I don't know where to start? That's okay. Start with awareness. Start by tracking. Start by removing time wasters. Start by choosing one habit a day that supports growth. You're not behind, you're building. And every hour you take back is a win. 1 hour spent building a skill is better than 3 hours spent avoiding responsibility. One conversation that opens a door is better than a whole day spent overthinking. One finished task is better than a dozen ideas that go nowhere. Small actions, when repeated daily, Change your direction. Spending time on money growth is not a trick. It's not a shortcut. It's a decision to stop trading your future for temporary comfort, a decision to stop leaking energy into things that don't matter, a decision to rise above average behavior and take control of your days with clarity. The question you ask now isn't what do I feel like doing, it's what will move my income forward today. That one shift will separate you from most people and will put you on a path where growth is no longer just possible. It becomes predictable, and when growth becomes predictable, income becomes scalable, and when income becomes scalable, freedom begins.
Chapter 6. Build income streams you can scale. If you want your income to grow far beyond what a job alone can give, you must learn to build income streams that scale. Scaling means the money doesn't depend fully on your time or your presence. It means you stop trading hours for dollars and start creating value that works for you while you sleep, rest, travel, or focus on other things. It's not just about making more, it's about making better, smarter. With leverage, most people stay stuck at one income stream, their job, and there's nothing wrong with a job if it's paying you well and teaching you valuable skills. But relying on one source of income is risky. The moment that job disappears or slows down, so does your cash flow, and more importantly, it limits your freedom. No matter how talented you are, one income stream tied to your effort means you're capped. There's a ceiling, you only have so many hours in a day, and eventually your energy hits a limit. Building scalable income is about creating something once and being paid for it over and over again. This doesn't mean instant wealth or passive riches overnight. That's not how real freedom is built. It means you take what you know, what you can do, and what you've experienced, and turn it into value that keeps working. A product, a system, a service with leverage, a digital asset, something that lives beyond just your effort. You start by identifying what you know that can help someone else. What can you do that others struggle with? What have you learned the hard way that others would gladly pay to learn faster? What skills do you have that you could turn into tools, templates, videos, courses, coaching, licensing, or products? This is where it begins, not with hype, but with truth. Once you know what you can offer, the next step is to create it in a way that can be delivered without you doing it live every single time. If you help people through one-on-one calls, think about turning that knowledge into a guide or video series. If you build things for people, think about creating templates or systems they can use without you needing to build it every time. If you write, speak, teach, organize, sell, design, lead, or coach, there is a way to turn that skill into a scalable format. It doesn't need to be perfect at first. What matters is getting something out into the world that creates results. Because once you help one person, you can help 10, then 100, and you don't have to clone yourself to do it. You just need to set it up right the first time. That's how leverage works. You stop restarting from zero. You let your work accumulate. Some people get stuck because they think building scalable income is complicated. It's not. It's just new. And anything new feels big at first. But break it down, start small, one offer, one tool, one product, one income stream, then build from there. What matters is not how grand your idea is, it's how consistent your effort becomes. You must also understand that scalable income doesn't mean hands-off forever. It means you put in focused effort up front to build something that pays off over time. You work now to build the system, so the system can work for you later, and that system can look different depending on your path. It might be a newsletter with paid subscriptions, a podcast with sponsors, a digital product store, a service that grows into a team, a platform that connects buyers and sellers, a course that teaches what you've mastered.
Whatever it is, it should do two things. It should solve a problem, and it should be able to grow without doubling your time in. If you can help people in a way that doesn't drain you, and do it again and again, now you're scaling. Now, building scalable income also means thinking differently about your time. Instead of using time to earn, you use time to build. You ask better questions like, will this pay me more than once? Or can this grow without me needing to be involved every step? If the answer is yes, it's worth your time. If not, reconsider. You'll also need to learn to separate high-return tasks from low-return tasks. Stop spending hours tweaking things that don't make a difference. Start putting your energy where it counts. Building the offer, testing the idea, improving delivery, and getting feedback. The market tells you what works if you're listening. And yes, there will be mistakes. You'll launch things that flop. You'll get confused. You'll want to give up. That's part of building anything real. Don't quit. Adapt, adjust, learn. Because once your first scalable income stream starts earning even a small amount while you're not working on it, that feeling changes how you think about money forever. You start to see what's possible. Scaling income also means understanding system. A system is something that keeps running without your constant input. Think of automated email sequences, pre-recorded lessons, affiliate marketing, customer onboarding flows, online stores or digital downloads. These systems don't require you to be there every second, and once they're running, your job is to improve them, not repeat them. The internet has given everyone access to tools that once required big budgets. You can build an audience, you can create content, you can sell to people across the world, but you have to stop consuming like a customer and start acting like a creator. Every day spent only watching others build is a day you could have spent building your own. Eventually, you'll want to have more than one income stream. This gives you flexibility. If one slows down, the others keep moving. But don't rush. Start with one, make it solid. Let it prove itself. Then use what you learned to launch the next one smarter. Every stream you build gets easier because now you understand what works and what doesn't. And here's something important. Scalable income is not just for entrepreneurs or creators. Even if you have a job, you can build something on the side. Write an ebook, create a digital product, offer a paid workshop. Start small. Consistency beats talent when talent is distracted. You don't need permission to start, you need direction. Remember that income should give you more life, not just more bills. When you build scalable income, you gain options. Options to say no, options to walk away from what drains you, options to travel, rest, give or grow. Those options are earned, not handed out. And no, this is not about quitting your job tomorrow or trying to get rich in a week. It's about thinking long term. It's about planting seeds that grow while you continue living your life. Seeds that don't need to be replanted every day, just watered, managed and allowed to grow. To build income streams you can scale, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to be the most committed to serving a real need with a repeatable solution. That's it. Serve well, repeat the delivery, improve the system, expand the reach. Do not chase trends. Trends fade. Build something based on problems that will still exist in 5 years. Teach people what they always need. Help them get results they always want. Build systems around those solutions, and your income becomes a reflection of the value you've created, not the time you've traded. You deserve more than just surviving. You deserve income that reflects your effort, your growth and your creativity. That kind of income is built when you stop waiting and start building systems that last. Start with what you know, focus on real problems. Build it once. Serve many, then repeat. That's how freedom begins. That's how income scales. That's how your life changes.
Chapter 7. Say no to low-paying effort. One of the hardest skills to learn on the path to higher income is the ability to say no. Not no out of anger, not no out of ego, but a calm, clear no. that protects your future. Low-paying effort is one of the biggest silent reasons people stay stuck. They work hard. They stay busy. They give their best energy, but the return stays small. Over time, this creates frustration and exhaustion because effort without reward slowly drains belief. Low-paying effort is tricky because it often looks responsible. It feels like being loyal. It feels like being helpful. It feels like doing the right thing. But if the effort you give does not match the value you bring back, it creates imbalance. And imbalance always shows up eventually in your motivation, in your confidence, in your income. Many people grow up believing that saying yes is a virtue. Say yes to work. Say yes to requests. Say yes to extra tasks. Say yes to being available all the time. But no one teaches you that every yes costs something. It costs time. It costs energy. It costs focus. And when you keep saying yes to low-paying effort, you are silently saying no to higher-paying opportunities you never had time to pursue. Low-paying effort is not just about money. It is about return. You can be paid fairly and still be giving low-return effort if the work teaches you nothing and leads nowhere. Income growth requires leverage. Leverage comes from learning, earning, or building something that compounds effort, that does not build skill, create results, or open doors, eventually traps you. At first, low-paying effort feels safe. You know what is expected. You know the routine. There is little risk. But safety has a hidden cost. The longer you stay in low-return situations, the harder it becomes to imagine something better. You get used to small wins. You lower expectations, and slowly your standards shift downward without you noticing. Saying no to low-paying effort is not about disrespecting work. It is about respecting your future. It means you choose where your energy goes instead of letting others decide for you. It means you stop being available for everything and start being intentional about what truly matters. Many people fear saying no because they fear losing income. That fear is understandable, but staying locked into low-paying effort often guarantees that income will never grow. Growth requires space. Space to learn. Space to build. Space to explore better opportunity. You cannot create space if every hour is already spent on work that barely moves you forward. Low-paying effort often comes with hidden expectations. Extra tasks without extra pay. Emotional labor without recognition. Responsibility without authority. These situations slowly teach you to accept less than you deserve. Over time, this affects how you negotiate, how you present yourself, and what you believe is possible. Saying no is not a rejection of people. It is a redirection of energy. You are not saying no forever. You are saying no for now because your priorities have changed. Growth demands new boundaries. Boundaries protect focus. Focus drives progress. To say no effectively, you must be clear about what you are saying yes to. If your goal is higher income, then your time must support that goal. This means choosing effort that builds valuable skills, produces measurable results, or creates scalable outcomes. Anything outside of that needs to be questioned. Start by reviewing where your time currently goes. Identify tasks that pay little and teach little. Identify commitments that drain energy without moving you closer to your goals. These are the first places to adjust. You do not have to quit everything overnight. You can reduce gradually, transition intentionally. One reason people stay in low-paying effort is guilt. Guilt about letting others down. Guilt about wanting more. Guilt about outgrowing a situation. But growth naturally creates change. Staying small to keep others comfortable costs you far more in the long run. Another reason is habit. Familiar routines feel easier than new challenges, but familiar does not mean beneficial. Habit can quietly keep income flat while years pass.
Breaking habit requires conscious choice. Choice requires courage. Courage grows when you remember why you started. Low-paying effort also affects mindset. When effort is not rewarded fairly, you begin to doubt your value. That doubt leaks into other areas. You hesitate to ask for more. You hesitate to pursue bigger goals. You hesitate to invest in yourself. Saying no restores balance. Balance restores confidence. People who earn more are not always working harder. They are working on higher return activities. They protect their time fiercely. They understand that effort is not equal. Some effort multiplies, some effort maintains, some effort drains. High-income growth comes from choosing multiplying effort more often. Learning to say no also sharpens your decision-making. You begin to evaluate opportunities based on outcome, not emotion. You ask better questions. What will this lead to? What will this teach me? What will this cost me? Clear questions create clear choices. It is important to understand that saying no may temporarily reduce income before it increases it. This is where trust in your plan matters. Growth often requires a short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Those who never accept temporary discomfort rarely experience lasting improvement. Saying no also trains others how to treat you. When you consistently accept low-return work, people assume you are fine with it. When you set boundaries respectfully, expectations adjust. Respect grows, opportunities improve. This does not mean becoming cold or selfish. It means becoming selective. Selective with time. Selective with energy. Selective with commitments. Selectivity is a skill. Skills improve with practice. One powerful way to say no is to replace it with a better yes. Yes to learning. Yes to building. Yes to improving your craft. Yes to rest that restores focus. Yes to planning that sharpens direction. These yeses create momentum. Low-paying effort keeps you busy. High-value effort moves you forward. The difference is subtle day to day, but massive over years. Small decisions repeated consistently shape income more than dramatic changes made once. Remember that your time is limited, but opportunity is not. When you free time from low-return effort, you create room to notice new possibilities. Possibility follows availability. Saying no may feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort fades. Regret from staying stuck lasts much longer. Choose discomfort that leads to growth over comfort that leads to stagnation. If you want income to rise, you must protect the inputs that create it. Time, focus, and energy are those inputs. Guard them carefully. Spend them where they produce results. Say no to low-paying effort, not with anger, but with clarity. Not with fear, but with intention. Not to escape work, but to elevate it. Your future income depends less on how hard you work and more on what you choose to work on. Choose wisely.
Chapter 8. Turn wins into bigger earning systems. Every win you experience, no matter how small, holds the potential to become something bigger if you treat it like a building block instead of a moment. Most people celebrate wins, then move on. But people who grow their income at extraordinary levels think differently. They don't just enjoy the win, they ask, how can I use this again? How can I turn this into a repeatable system that keeps paying me? That shift in thinking changes everything. Turning wins into bigger earning systems starts with recognizing the hidden value in your results. If you helped one client solve a problem, you now have a process. If you created something that got attention, you now have a framework. If you delivered something that made money, you now have a proof of concept. These are not just wins, they are seeds for something scalable, something that doesn't rely on you doing it manually every time. One-time wins feel great, but they're limited. You win, you get paid, and that's it. The goal is not to keep starting over. The goal is to stop restarting from scratch every month.
That's how you escape the cycle of trading time for income. That's how you move from being someone who gets paid once for work to someone who builds a machine that works over and over. You begin by documenting what worked. Take the emotion out of it for a moment and look at the facts. What problem did you solve? How did you solve it? What tools did you use? What order did you follow? What did your client or customer say afterward? These details matter. They become the foundation of the system. The more clearly you understand what created the win, the more easily you can repeat it, refine it, or scale it. This is where most people fall short. They do great work, then forget how they did it. Or they move too fast to the next thing and miss the chance to turn success into structure. A system is simply a repeatable process that leads to predictable results. If you can deliver predictable results, you can build trust. If you build trust, you can charge more. And if your process works without needing to rebuild it every time, your income grows without your hours increasing. Think of it like this. A win is a single successful recipe. A system is a kitchen that can produce that recipe every day for more people. The more efficient your kitchen, the more people you can serve, and the more income you can generate without burning out. Turning your win into a system means creating assets. Not just content, but assets. Assets that can be sold, licensed, automated, or reused. If you wrote a great guide for one person, turn it into a downloadable product. If you solved a common issue for a business, build a template or training others can use. If you built a strategy that got results, turn it into a step-by-step program. What once paid you once can now pay you again and again. Systems save you time. They also help you scale quality. When everything depends on memory or effort, quality drops as you grow. But when you build systems, clear processes, resources, communication flows, you protect your standards even as your reach expands. That's how income grows without stress multiplying. You don't need to be a tech expert to build a system. You just need to know what works and create a simple way for others to experience that same result. A Google Doc, a checklist, a recorded walkthrough, a scheduled email sequence. These are all basic tools that turn your win into something that works when you're not available. Another benefit of building systems is that they force you to think long-term. You stop chasing quick wins and start investing in infrastructure. This is how you create income stability. One-time wins are unpredictable. Systems bring consistency. Consistency builds trust, and trust increases value. The mindset shift here is simple but powerful. Instead of asking, "What did I earn from this win?" start asking, "What can this win become?" That question will guide you to opportunities most people miss. It's not just about working harder, it's about building smarter. Turning wins into systems also helps you teach others. You can train a team, you can license your process, you can partner with others who want to implement your system in different spaces. Your income no longer depends on your presence. It grows based on how well your system works and how many people it helps. And let's talk about something people ignore. Turning a win into a system helps you avoid burnout. When everything depends on you showing up at full speed, you eventually crash. But a system runs, whether you're tired, busy, traveling, or scaling something new. Systems protect your energy while continuing to deliver results. Every system starts small. Don't wait for perfection. Take the version that worked once and start refining it. Write down the steps. Automate what you can. Standardize what you deliver. Improve it over time. What matters is not how pretty it looks at first, it's that it works. You'll polish later. Keep in mind, the best systems often come from your real-life wins. Not theory, not copying others. Your experience, your approach, your way of solving the problem, that's what makes it unique. That uniqueness becomes part of your advantage in the market. When people know your system works, you earn attention. With attention comes opportunity. Make it a habit. After every win, ask what part of it can be repeated. Ask what you can automate. Ask what you can teach. Ask what asset you can create from it. The answers to those questions will lead to products, services, funnels, partnerships, and processes that raise your income far beyond what a single win could offer on its own. Too often, people think they need to create something completely new to grow, but most of the time, growth comes from using what already worked and expanding it. You already have wins behind you. Don't let them fade. Turn them into systems that build your future. And here's the best part. Systems compound. One system brings a result. 2 systems bring a foundation. 3 or more, and you have momentum. You have something that starts to grow beyond your time and energy. That's how real wealth is built. Not in big moments, but in systems built from small wins that most people overlook. You don't need more wins. You need to do more with the wins you already have. That one shift can separate years of frustration from years of income growth. Build systems. Build smart. And let your wins keep working for you long after the moment is over.
Chapter 9. Measure income moves and fix mistakes. Income doesn't grow from effort alone. It grows when effort is measured, adjusted, and directed. People who increase their income dramatically don't just work harder, they watch what's working, they track what's failing, and they course correct fast. They treat income like a result, not a reward. And results are built through clear tracking and smart decisions. If you're not measuring your income moves, you're guessing, and guessing leads to wasted time, delayed progress, and repeated mistakes that could have been avoided. Every income move you make, every product you launch, every service you offer, every deal you close, every skill you apply, either moves you forward or holds you still. But unless you track what's happening, you won't know which is which. Most people think they know what's working, but they're going off feelings instead of facts. They feel busy or feel productive, but they can't show how it's affecting their bank account. That gap between effort and clarity is where growth gets lost. The first step is to decide what counts as a meaningful income move in your life right now. This is different for everyone. If you're just starting, a move could be reaching out to 5 new potential clients or applying to 10 high-value opportunities. If you're already earning, it might be tracking which clients bring the highest returns or what offers convert the best. The key is to define what a good move looks like and write it down. If you don't define it, you can't improve it. Once you know what to track, you start measuring in simple terms. What did I do? What did it lead to? And what can I learn from it? This doesn't need to be a complex spreadsheet. It can be a notebook, a Google Doc, a whiteboard. The medium doesn't matter. What matters is awareness. With that awareness, you start spotting patterns. You'll realize some tasks you thought were important aren't paying off. You'll notice that one offer keeps performing well. You'll see how much time you're spending on things that don't move the needle. This process makes you more honest with yourself. You stop confusing movement with progress. You stop lying to yourself about how hard you're working when the truth is you're avoiding the real work. Measurement removes the fog. It forces focus. You'll also start catching mistakes faster. Mistakes are not the problem. Letting them continue without fixing them is. Most people don't fail from one bad decision. They fail from repeating the same decision while hoping for different results. When you track your income moves, you get to ask, is this working? And more importantly, why or why not? Fixing mistakes starts with dropping ego. You can't grow if you're more worried about being right than being better.
If a product flopped, find out why. If a client didn't return, ask what could have been done differently. If your effort isn't turning into income, break down where the flow is getting blocked. Every mistake carries feedback. You can ignore it or use it. Growth only comes from those who use it. Sometimes the fix is simple. Change the offer, improve the pitch, adjust the price. Other times the fix is internal. Improve how you manage time, how you approach conversations, how you recover from setbacks. No matter what, the fix always exists if you're willing to face it and stay open. Tracking also gives you confidence over time. In the beginning, it might feel awkward. You might not want to see the truth, but eventually you start noticing improvement. You start seeing wins stack. You see fewer mistakes repeating. You feel more in control because now your decisions are based on what's real. Confidence built on clarity is far stronger than confidence built on hope. This habit of tracking and fixing creates momentum. You start winning faster, not because you're lucky, but because you're learning faster. While others keep guessing, you're making informed moves. While they repeat past errors, you're building smarter systems. While they hope next month will be different, you're ensuring that it is. Another benefit of tracking is that it shows you what not to do again. This is as valuable as learning what to do. If you spent 40 hours on something that brought in zero return, you now know where not to invest again. That time isn't wasted. It's a lesson that saves your future time. Most people keep paying for the same lesson in time, money or energy, because they never tracked the first failure. There's also an emotional benefit to tracking. Progress can feel slow. You'll have days where it seems like nothing is moving. But when you can look back at the actions you've taken, the lessons you've learned, and the improvements you've made, it creates internal motivation. You see that you're not stuck, you're growing. It might be quiet growth, it might be invisible to others, but it's real. And it's powerful. The people who scale their income over time are not those who did everything right from day one. They're the ones who kept watching, kept adjusting, and never let mistakes become permanent patterns. They took feedback seriously. They treated their income like a system that could be optimized, and because of that they built something stable and sustainable. Start tracking weekly. Review what you did. What worked? What didn't? What will you stop doing? What will you double down on? These simple questions keep your focus sharp. They make sure your time and energy are being used with intention. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. You're not just building income, you're building discipline. You're building clarity. You're building a decision-making process that improves you over time. That's what makes growth inevitable. You don't need to guess your way to success. You don't need to throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks. You need to measure what matters and be honest about what's not working. The moment you start doing that, you take control, and income follows control. Not luck, not chance, just simple focused control. Don't wait for a crisis to get serious about your income moves. Don't wait until months go by and you wonder where the time went. Start tracking today. Start fixing the small things now. The big improvements will come if you stay consistent. Growth isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. And doing better starts with knowing exactly what's happening, what's helping, and what's holding you back. Measure, adjust, improve. That's the formula. That's how you turn effort into income and potential into progress.
Chapter 10. Commit daily to earning far more. Earning far more is not about a lucky break or one-time effort. It's about daily choices repeated with focus and discipline. If you want to dramatically increase your income, you need to treat your goals like a lifestyle, not an event. That means committing every single day, not once in a while, not when you feel like it, not only when things are easy. You wake up each day with the intention to grow, to improve, and to do something that moves your earning power forward. Most people wait for motivation to show up before they act. That's the mistake. Motivation fades, life gets busy, excuses feel valid. But if you rely on feeling inspired before you take action, your income stays flat. Real growth happens when you decide that no matter what's going on, stress, fatigue, uncertainty, you'll show up anyway. Because this is not about perfection. It's about persistence. When you make the decision to commit daily, you build internal proof that you can rely on yourself, and that proof adds up. At first, the changes are small, a new habit, a better response, one productive hour, but those daily efforts compound. Over time, they turn into skills, systems, and income that multiply. The results don't come all at once, but they come consistently if you stay consistent. Every day you face two options, comfort or growth. Comfort says relax, scroll, put it off. Growth says plan, act, learn, improve. The difference between high income and average income is not talent, it's which of those voices you obey more often. The higher your income goal, the more you need to protect your time, your focus, and your standards. And that protection must happen daily. To commit daily to earning far more, you must create a clear structure. You need a plan that guides your attention. Without structure, your day gets hijacked by distractions. Time disappears. Focus fades. You end the day feeling busy, but with nothing to show for it. But when you start your day knowing exactly what actions will move your income forward, you start working with purpose. Structure doesn't mean every hour is filled. It means the important hours are protected. That might be an hour each morning spent building your offer, or 30 minutes refining your pitch, or 2 hours a night learning a skill that multiplies your value. The amount of time matters less than the consistency of effort, because steady progress outperforms random bursts every single time. You also need to know what your income drivers are. What activities directly grow your earning ability? Is it sending proposals, creating content, selling your product, talking to prospects, studying pricing psychology? Every person's path is different, but what's true for everyone is this. If you don't know which actions create growth, you'll waste time on the wrong things. So begin tracking, not just what you do, but what it leads to. If you post online every day, which posts generate leads? If you offer a service, which type of clients pay the most and refer others? If you sell, which strategies close the deal? Track, reflect, refine. That's how daily effort turns into better results, not just repeated movement. And part of committing daily is learning how to adjust fast. Things won't always go your way. Some days you'll be tired, some strategies won't work. But people who earn far more don't stop when it's hard. They adapt, they test new approaches, they remove what's not working. They don't freeze, they learn. The daily commitment isn't just about action, it's about reflection, correction, and improvement. Another important piece is environment. You can't keep your income small and your habits average and expect your results to rise. You need to put yourself in environments, physical and digital, that support your goals. That means protecting your attention from noise. It means surrounding yourself with people who take growth seriously. It means cutting out sources of distraction that kill your focus 1 minute at a time. Sometimes that means changing what you watch, what you listen to, who you speak to regularly. You don't need to cut everyone off,
but you do need to be honest about which relationships and inputs support your next level, and which ones keep you stuck. Committing daily to earning more is not just about what you do, it's also about what you stop tolerating. Accountability is another powerful piece. When you keep your goals to yourself, it's easy to hide from them. But when you share your commitment, whether it's with a mentor, a friend, or even through journaling, you create pressure. And pressure is not a bad thing. The right kind of pressure sharpens you. It reminds you what's at stake. It pulls you forward when willpower is low. This journey will require patience. You won't see massive changes every single day. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Think of it like a bank account. Every disciplined action is a deposit. Every smart decision adds value. Every time you resist a distraction and choose growth, you add to your future income. The results are delayed, but they are building. It's also important to track your mindset daily. Negative thinking will rob you of momentum. Doubt and fear show up when you're tired, or when progress feels slow. That's normal. But don't let them lead. Notice them, but act anyway. Confidence is not a personality trait. It's a result of doing what you said you would do, even when it's hard. Every time you follow through, you become stronger. You must also commit to getting better at money itself. It's not just about earning more, it's about understanding how money works. How to keep it, how to grow it, how to multiply it. Study income like a craft. Learn from those ahead of you. Ask questions. Practice smart habits. Money rewards those who respect it, not just those who chase it. The commitment is not for a week or a month, it's for life. Not because you have to hustle forever, but because your identity shifts. You become someone who moves with purpose, someone who doesn't wait to be told what to do, someone who creates value and expects to be paid accordingly. This becomes who you are, not just something you try to do. You may not control everything that happens around you, but you always control how you show up. And when you show up daily with intention, everything around you begins to shift. People respond differently. Opportunities appear. You become someone others want to work with. Because consistency creates trust, and trust creates income. No matter where you start, no matter how far you feel from your goals, the path begins today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. One clear action, one focused hour, one better decision. Then do it again tomorrow. That's how you build something real. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the fastest. You need to be the one who doesn't stop. The one who shows up every day. The one who stays committed, not to being perfect, but to earning far more than what your past would suggest is possible. Because you are not your past, you are your discipline, your decisions, and your direction. And when you commit daily to earning far more, you give yourself the power to live by choice, not by chance. You stop waiting. You start building, and day by day your life begins to look exactly like the future you once hoped for, not because of luck, but because of your commitment.